stop. Before you book your next hair appointment, before you tell your colorist the same thing you have been saying for years, I need you to hear something most colorists will never say to your face. The color in your hair right now may be making you look older, not because you are aging, but because the specific shade or tone was chosen for a face you had 10 years ago. The right color, the right warmth, the right placement can take 10 years off your face without a single needle, a single procedure, or a single change to anything else about your appearance. After 60, skin loses warmth. The hair color sitting closest to the face is now either adding warmth back to cooler, less luminous skin, or subtracting the little warmth that remains. Warm hair warms the face. Cool hair cools the face. That is the single principle that connects all 7 colors on this countdown. The most powerful color on this list is the last one. Stay with me for that one. Color number 7, warm honey blonde. This is not the flat, single process all-over blonde most women are still getting when they ask for blonde color. Flat all-over blonde often reads as brassy at the roots and ashy at the ends, with none of the warmth that makes blonde genuinely flattering on a mature face. The warm honey blonde I am describing is a multi-tonal blonde that has golden, amber, and caramel warmth built through the mid-lengths and ends. A blonde that catches light in different ways, in different areas, and reads as warm and dimensional, rather than flat and processed. On a woman over 60 with skin that has lost some of its natural warmth, this kind of warm, dimensional blonde reflects golden light upward onto the face in the same way that warm ivory fabric at the neckline does. The specific technique to ask for is baby lights or a shadow root with honey-toned highlights. Techniques that create natural-looking variation rather than a single flat shade. The shadow root eliminates the harsh, grown-out line that makes all-over blonde so high maintenance and so aging. Warm honey blonde also stays flattering significantly longer than cool blonde because the warm pigments fade toward a natural-looking lighter warm tone rather than toward brass or gray. A warm blonde grown out 6 weeks looks like a soft, natural, sun-kissed version of itself. A cool blonde grown out 6 weeks looks harsh at the root and dull at the ends. Warmth extends the life of the color and the flattery simultaneously. Color number 6, warm caramel brown. For women who are not ready to go lighter or who have darker hair naturally, warm caramel brown is one of the most consistently flattering hair colors available for a face over 60. Caramel has a golden orange warmth that reflects beautifully onto skin. It is the equivalent of the warm tan bag against a silver outfit, creating a warm focal point that illuminates everything near it. The specific version that works best for mature women is a caramel, applied as highlights or as a balayage sweep through existing brown or dark hair. Warm caramel pieces that catch light around the face and create a warm, dimensional frame for the features. An all-over flat caramel brown can look muddy in certain lighting. The caramel that works creates light variation. Darker between the pieces, lighter on the pieces. So the overall effect is warm and dimensional, rather than flat and uniform. If you have naturally dark hair and are considering caramel for the first time, ask for a balayage concentrated in the upper third of the hair, from approximately the ear level upward, rather than applied root to tip. Caramel concentrated in the upper portion reflects warm light most directly onto the face, which is where the warming effect matters most. Color number 5, warm copper. This is the color that surprises most women because copper feels bold. It feels like a young person's color. It is none of those things when done correctly. Warm copper. Specifically, a soft, burnished copper that leans toward auburn rather than a bright orange, is one of the most immediately face-warming colors available. The red and orange pigments in copper reflect warm light onto the skin with more intensity than any other hair color. For women with warm skin undertones, yellow, golden, peachy, copper is one of the single most flattering colors possible. It creates a warm glow in the skin that foundation and highlighter can only approximate. The specific version that works for mature women is a soft, muted copper, a color that reads as richly warm rather than brightly colored. Applied as a full color or has heavy copper highlights through an otherwise brunette base, it creates a warmth in the face that nothing else on this list matches. Think of old pennies rather than new ones. Think of autumn leaves rather than traffic cones. The burnished version of copper is sophisticated, warm, and genuinely stunning on a face over 60, in a way that the vivid version is not. Color number 4. Warm chestnut with face-framing highlights. This is the color combination that most women over 60 who see it in a magazine recognize immediately as someone who looks younger than they expected. Warm chestnut is a medium brown with red-brown warmth built in. Not cool ash brown, not muddy taupe brown, but a clear, warm, red-inflected brown that reads as rich and alive in natural light. The face-framing highlights that make this combination work are fine, warm, golden caramel highlights concentrated in the 3 to 4 inches around the face. The pieces that frame the forehead, the temples, and the cheeks. These warm highlights reflect warm golden light directly onto the adjacent skin. The cheekbones, the forehead, the area around the eyes, creating a warm halo around the face that makes the skin inside the halo look warmer, more luminous, and more alive. The specific positioning matters more than most colorists explain. The highlights should begin at the hairline at the forehead and the temples, not starting an inch behind the hairline, and should be pulled forward so that they visibly frame the face. Ask for the first highlight on each side to be placed within a ½ inch of the hairline itself. Highlights placed slightly behind the hairline frame the hair rather than the face, which is a completely different effect. Color number 3. Warm platinum with golden toning. This one requires the most explanation because the word platinum typically calls to mind the very cool, very ash-toned platinum that is fashionable right now, and that is one of the most consistently aging colors on a mature face. The warm platinum I am describing is something quite different. It is a silver blonde that has been toned with a warm golden or champagne toner rather than a violet or blue toner. The result is a platinum that is still very light, that still reads as silver or blonde, but that has warmth in its undertone rather than coolness. Cool-toned platinum reflects blue-white light onto the face, the same draining cool light that cool bathroom bulbs cast. Warm-toned platinum reflects golden champagne light onto the face, the same warming quality that warm lighting provides. The specific toner to ask for is a golden beige or champagne toner, rather than a violet or ash toner. If your colorist reaches for the purple bottle, ask them to try the golden one instead. The difference in how your skin looks immediately afterward will be visible. Cool-toned platinum reads as very precise and intentional. It is the platinum of high fashion. Warm-toned platinum reads as very natural. It is the platinum of sunlight and of how silver hair actually looks on a very healthy head. On a face over 60, the natural quality of warm-toned platinum is precisely what makes it more flattering. Color number 2. Rich auburn. Auburn occupies a specific place on the color spectrum that makes it uniquely flattering for mature faces. It has the warmth of red without the brightness that makes red feel young and bold, and it has the depth of brown without the flatness that makes cool brown aging. Rich auburn reflects the most complex and the most flattering light onto the skin of any color on this list. It works on a wider range of skin undertones than copper or caramel, because the blue-red element in auburn is neutral enough to be flattering on both warm and cool skin tones. The specific versions that work best for mature women are the natural-looking auburns, colors that have variation in depth and tone rather than flat single-process reds. Auburn with darker pieces at the roots and warmer, more luminous pieces at the mid-lengths and ends. Auburn that reads differently in sunlight than in indoor light. That variation and dimension is what makes auburn age-reducing. The most important thing to communicate to your colorist when asking for auburn is the word natural. A natural auburn has depth and variation. A fashion auburn is a uniform, highly saturated, single-toned red that announces from any distance that the hair has been colored. The natural version makes people wonder whether you have always had that beautiful color. And now color number 1, the most powerful hair color change for women over 60, the one I have been building toward since the very first sentence. Color number 1, warm highlights woven through natural silver or gray hair. I want to be specific about why this is number 1 rather than copper, which creates the most intense warming effect of any color, or auburn, which flatters the widest range of skin tones. It is number 1 because of the combination of impact and accessibility. Most women can add 3 fine warm highlights to their silver hair in 30 minutes at any salon appointment. The change requires no bleaching, no dramatic commitment, no full color process. It works on hair that is completely gray, mostly gray, or only beginning to gray, and the improvement it produces in how the face reads is immediate, visible, and consistent. High impact, low commitment, universal applicability. Most women who have transitioned to natural silver or gray hair treat the silver as a single uniform color, something to maintain and accept rather than something to work with. What almost nobody tells these women is that silver hair with a few warm highlights woven through it reads as dramatically more youthful than solid, uniform silver. Not because the highlights fight the silver or disguise it, but because the warm light they reflect creates the dimensional quality that uniform silver lacks. Uniform silver hair reflects uniform cool light onto the face. Silver hair with warm honey, champagne, or golden highlights woven through the face framing sections reflects a mix of warm and cool light. And that warm element changes everything about how the face reads. The skin looks warmer. The eyes look brighter. The overall face looks more alive and more dimensional. And the silver itself looks more intentional and more beautiful. The specific technique is to have 3 to 5 very fine warm highlights, honey-toned, champagne, or warm blonde, woven through the first 3 to 4 inches around the face. Not dozens of highlights, not a full balayage, just a handful of warm pieces near the face that change the quality of light reflecting onto the skin. The maintenance is almost nothing. 3 to 5 fine highlights refreshed every 4 to 6 months, growing out invisibly between appointments. This is the color technique that requires the least commitment and produces the most immediate and consistent improvement to how the face reads, which is exactly why it is number 1. Which of these 7 colors are you considering for your next appointment? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one.